You are not who you once were. You're not that person anymore. You may have been the type to do certain things prior to your reset, to your rebuild. But at this point, you're not that person. You're not that girl. You're not that guy. You've grown. People will try to hold you to who you once were and treat you that way. Even if you've already grown past who you once were. And sometimes they want to do that because they'd rather you be who you were before because it made it easier on them. They didn't have to adjust. When things like this happen, you have to basically focus on yourself and who you're becoming. And basically, you are not your past at that point. You may have done things a certain way before, but now you do them differently. You found a more efficient way to do things. For myself, I can honestly say I'm not who I was. There are still aspects of me that are there from who I once was, but the person in general, the core, probably has changed. I'm not as irritable as I once was. I don't get as annoyed as easily. A lot of things I just let slide compared to how I was before. I don't feel the need to defend myself. I don't feel the need to respond to people acting a certain way towards me. I don't feel the need to, and I don't care. People's opinions that used to once bother me or that I used to have anxiety about and worry about, I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care who you are. I am who I am. It is what it is. I don't need your opinion. I don't need your validation. I only need my own opinion and my own validation. How you feel is irrelevant. You have no bearing on who I am. You have no bearing on who I'm going to become. All of that depends on me. I decide all that. Which is true power. You control who you are. You control what you do. People can have opinions. They can say what they want to say. But in the end, they're not the one that moves the needle. They're the one that moves the needle and decides what's happening. So they can try to make a situation happen. They can try to make a certain result happen. But honestly, unless you really decide to roll with whatever they're doing, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You don't have to accept what people give you. The things about me that hasn't changed stays the same. The work ethic still stays the same. How I approach work still stays the same. How I deal with people, it stays the same. I still treat people nicely. Now, when you're in the military, there's this unspoken thing where straightforwardness and being brash is accepted. No tact, no ways of wording things without being condescending or insulting to the other person when you're trying to communicate something to them. You just say how you feel, straightforward, is what it is. If they don't like it, get over it. That's the thing you get used to in the military. Once you become a civilian, you realize all that isn't the best way to handle things. Also, it's not necessarily healthy just to talk to people that way. It's not healthy at all. There were things that I learned and picked up in the military that I purposely worked on losing once I got out because I didn't want that to be part of my personality. Everything doesn't transfer over. When you're in the military, there's not much empathy. There's not much empathy at all. You have to develop that on your own. I didn't learn all that until after I got out. Now, of course, I could use empathy in the sense of I could see where somebody was coming from and possibly be able to determine why they would do certain things or why they handle certain things because of their situation and how they act in general and their personality. Yeah, I had that aspect of empathy in my arsenal. I'm an empath in that way. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that I was always, you know, as tactful when talking to people. Whenever I wanted something done, when I was focused on work and trying to get things finished, I had to work on that. And honestly, I feel like I got better at that. But in the end, I worked on it. I got better, and now I'm a better leader because of it. I've been a leader more times than not, and uh, probably not just as much as when I was a civilian as when I was in the military. And as a civilian, it's a different kind of skill set. You still use things that transfer over from the military, but you know, civilians aren't. They aren't enlisted. They're not officers, so you're not going to talk to them the same way. They're not used to being communicated with in certain ways, so you have to adjust. And with all that, I adjusted. For you, you got to remember, you're trying to grow, you're trying to get better, you're trying to become a better person. So everything that you did in the past, you're probably not going to do that anymore. And honestly, everything that you did in the past, you probably don't do that anymore. And just because someone remembers you in that way, or they try to push you in that direction, doesn't mean you have to fold and go with it. Just be who you are. Who cares about the noise? Who cares about the other shit? It's strictly just about you, where you're going, where you're headed, and how you decide to treat people going forward. Everything else doesn't matter. I'm Jeuse Kastoan, and this is Hard Reset.